Hi, my name is Danielle, and I am a new mom, which I am so grateful. Um, yeah, I'm just really grateful for the opportunity. I am also a nurse. I've worked primarily in outpatient surgery, and so I took care of quite a few moms who had miscarriages or incomplete miscarriages and needed to have procedures done. So when I got pregnant, I was really scared of having a miscarriage initially and really hesitant to share the news with a lot of people. Of course, I told my husband and my family, but beyond that, like I told close friends, some of my coworkers, but I didn't want to make public announcements. Um, and then, yeah, like I had some concerns about like if I was gonna, um, I don't know, like just if I was gonna be able to make it through if I miscarried or if I had a stillbirth. I had a couple of friends from college who experienced, actually one friend from college and a previous coworker who experienced a third trimester pregnancy loss. So super heartbreaking. And I have a friend who um, is a stepmom and most likely won't have her own kids, but or have like bio kids, but she was just saying she, like hold on to just the special opportunity to carry your daughter for as long as you have the chance to carry her. Like even if you miscarry, you're still a mom. And I really appreciated her sharing that, which maybe for some people wouldn't have been the best thing for them to hear, but for me, like that was what I needed to hear. And then I reached out to my friend from college who delivered a baby who was a stillbirth. And yeah, I just told her, I was like, I am so scared, like, and my fear is getting in the way of me being able to celebrate fully. And it was just so helpful talking to her. I think one thing that I was scared of was just feeling like if I lose this baby, I don't know how I'll feel about God. Um, and I don't know if I'll hold on to my faith through that kind of tragedy. And so my friend is a believer and just such an incredible person. She's gone through a lot of life, a lot of grief, a lot of heartache, but she loves so intensely. And her first child was a stillbirth, but now she has 3 kids who are doing well. And, I think, and just because that was her story didn't mean that was going to be my story, but I think just seeing her attitude about life gave me a lot of hope that even if a really heartbreaking thing happened, like I could still have faith, and I could still have hope for the future, and I could keep on living, and look forward to days to come. And so, not to minimize that her loss at all, but I've just been so impressed by the way that she enjoys life, even in the face of grief and loss and chaos and everything else, and transitions and rhythm changes. And yeah, like I'm grateful to know her. Yeah, so fast forwarding, my pregnancy was pretty good. I was sick pretty much the whole time, but I just held on to gratitude. I was just like, yes, I do not feel well. My sciatica is acting up. I feel like I'm gonna throw up every day. I had indigestion. What else? Like nothing major, but things that were, you know, noticeable. And yeah. And so as I went into my third trimester, I got more excited, and then I had an in-person baby shower with friends, and as well as a virtual baby shower with friends and family from different places. Excuse me. So that was really special, getting to celebrate in that way. And yeah, so with my birth story, I remember when I first met you know what, let me back up. So with our journey, originally we were thinking we would adopt, and that did not work out. We looked into adopting multiple children, and it just didn't work. It could have worked out with the last child that we were looking to adopt, but when I found out I was pregnant, the psychologist in his country just suggested that we have another psychological eval, just to make sure we were mentally and emotionally prepared to have two children with special needs, like adopting somebody that will need, that was going to need a lot of attention, and then having a baby that was going to need a lot of attention, and just seeing if we were ready for that, that pace, if you will, and that opportunity. And I had a hard time with that at first, just because I really wanted to adopt and have a baby. But yeah, now I'm like, wow, that was really helpful advice, because I think we could have adapted and coped, but I do think we would have taken away from each child, like, attention that we could have given, if we, just focused on one child at a time. So there was definitely wisdom in that, even though I didn't always appreciate it at the moment. So yeah, so fast forwarding, I was not feeling well. I thought I just had a stomach bug. I had a negative pregnancy test, and we were getting ready to start IVF. And so, with the IVF process, the nurse followed up with me eventually and was like, "Hey, we haven't heard from you." And we already had the meds, we had our schedule, we paid the fees that we needed to pay. And yeah, and so the nurse was like, "Oh yeah, we're expecting to hear from you so that you could start your first drug with, with your cycle." And my period didn't come. And so I was like, yeah, I had the same situation the previous month. And so I don't know, if hormones are out of whack or something. So she's like, yeah, let's just have you come in. So I go in, and I go into the fertility clinic and, have some blood work done. I don't know if I did a urine test also, but I at least did a serum pregnancy test. And then I had an ultrasound. And so they were like, "Oh, let's just look at your follicles." And they're like, "Oh, actually, you're pregnant. Here's a pregnancy sac." And I just started crying, and I feel emotional even now. Because I remember thinking, if I'm not pregnant, I need to go to an urgent care, because I just feel so ill. And yeah, so then they showed me on the screen. And at that point, I think I was 6 weeks. And then I followed up with them again at 8 weeks. We had a Euro trip planned while I was 9 weeks. 9 weeks and 10 weeks pregnant. And then came back, and I got established with care. And yeah, it was a very pleasant surprise. And as soon as I got out of the appointment, I called my husband and sent him pictures, ultrasound pictures, and told my parents and my sister, and then went back to work because I had that appointment on a work day. And I went back to work and I was like, "I'm pregnant." And they're like, "Oh my goodness." And Yeah, so just very good news. Yes. So fast forwarding, I remember meeting the midwife, and she was like, "Oh yeah, like what's your birth plan? Your ideal birth plan?" And I was like, honestly, like I just know that Black maternal and fetal um, mortality rates aren't great, so like my standard's pretty low. I just wanted, um, I want my, I want you to keep me and my baby alive. Like essentially, that's it. I want us to do well through this pregnancy and delivery. But I don't like you don't need to do any backflips, keep me entertained, or do any like extra. Uh, I don't even know, like nothing extra. Just keep it confident and kind. I mean, like that's it. And so she was like, oh, yes, yeah. And like right away, she was like, okay, because you're African American and because of your age and other factors, like it's ideal that you start taking aspirin. And so I really appreciated her. And like the clinic I went to isn't terribly far, but it is less convenient than the clinic that's closer. And so I even appreciated them mentioning that there was a clinic closer to where I lived and closer to where I worked. And so I ended up going to a clinic to my OB ended up being on the campus where I work. And so I was able to just walk over to appointments. We were connected with a maternal fetal medicine doctor, and she was also on campus, so it was just very convenient, and I really appreciated the care. I had a really beautiful time, like birth experience, which I'm super grateful for. And I really just appreciate all the people that God put in my life during that time, and just the comments that people made that were helpful comments. I appreciated those. My coworkers were just so beautiful towards me, like letting me go home early, being willing to work like my call shifts, or split call, or work late so I wouldn't have to come in on call. Just super, super gracious. I just feel incredibly grateful. And what else? Yeah, so one of my coworkers, I don't know how I feel about saying people's names, so I just won't. But one of my coworkers mentioned that she had a doula and just talked about how helpful it was to have an advocate. And she's also a nurse, but she's like, but it still was just, she's like, it just made my experience so much better. And so she's like, yeah, for what it's worth, like this is her information if you want to connect with her. And I did connect with her, and I ended up getting plugged into a program. I think it was through Open Arms that allowed me to work with a doula for free. And so that was another blessing. So I got connected with a doula. So we met up. I think we met a couple times before, or at least once before I delivered. And then she was there on my C-section day. So I had a C-section scheduled, and it was largely because I've had surgery involving my uterus in the past. So I had scar tissue, and anyway. So it was safest for a baby and me to do a C-section. So I had a C-section, and I just really appreciated my coworker saying, like, even though you have a C-section, like, even though you're giving birth via C-section, like, you can still have a really special birthing experience. Like, you can have music playing, you can have, when you get to the recovery room, like, have pictures in the room and have different scents or whatever, and talk to your doula about ways to make it special as well. and about, like your concerns and your wants and things. And so that, like, I will be forever grateful that she talked about um, that opportunity to, like, still have a special experience, because I just thought, like, oh, because I'll be in the OR, it'll be kind of like a sterile, like, you know, very, in my mind, I'm thinking like slam bam, thank you, ma'am. Like, here's a cut, here's your baby. So yeah. And it wasn't like that. So there were multiple moms who needed to go to surgery before me and had C-sections before me. And the hospital where I was located only had 2 ORs in the OB unit. So I just kept getting bumped. But like I arrived around 5. I was supposed to go in at 8, and I think I ended up delivering after 4. So needless to say, and I wasn't eating during that time. So needless to say, I wasn't hungry, but at one point I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm hypoglycemic. I think, can you check my blood sugar? And sure enough, I was. My blood sugar was low, so I got some apple juice and some dextrose through my IV, and but even the response time on that was like, I mentioned it, and within minutes, like a few minutes, I was already getting treated. So that felt good. But yeah, so finally I was going into the OR, I was getting ready. My husband, was there. We called the doula back because her phone was dying, so she went to her car to charge her phone, and she ended up coming back. And yeah, and then I had my phone with me. The spinal worked during the first attempt, so I was like, thank you, God. Because he was like, yeah, so the alternative, if the spinal doesn't work after one attempt, then we generally just put you to sleep and wake you up. And I was like, I'd rather not go to sleep. But yeah, so I was really grateful that the spinal worked. And then they were like, oh yeah, don't you have your phone? Do you want to play music? And I was like, yeah. So again, my coworker encouraged me to have like a playlist. And so I had that. And on the playlist, I had some songs from our wedding. And so I was invited to use their Bluetooth speaker to like play, the music in the operating room. But I just had it near my pillow, and I was like, no. I was like, I like just being able to hear it for myself, like I don't need to broadcast it. And that's just like more my personality, it's like a intimate moment, and having the music like low allowed me to be aware and hear what was going on, but still have like a softness to the experience. And so I like I remember this one song playing, and my husband walked his parents down the aisle to that song, and then and that's the song my daughter was born to. And so like I think just hearing her cry, and even before she was delivered, like I was just like smiling and crying, and it was just like, I can't believe I'm having a baby, like this is so crazy. Yeah, I know she's 3 months, and she's just such a beautiful person. And I don't mean that just like her looks, but just she's just a beautiful soul, I'll say. But yeah, like I just feel so grateful for this opportunity. Like I think one reason I wanted to build my family through adoption was because I didn't have enough faith that I could have a child by birth. And and that's not the only reason. Like my heart's just been drawn to adoption. It's like, we have a home. We're safe people. We would love to welcome a child into our home. And yeah, like my heart, and I just never really thought about having biological children. But the older I got, the more I doubted that it was just even an option for me. And so, like, I really appreciate God building my faith through allowing me to connect with different people. Like, after getting married, we went to Mexico. That's where my husband's from originally. And connected with his cousin, and she got pregnant while she was older. And I just remember her telling me, like, yeah, like, look at me, you know, I have my baby. I was told I wasn't going to have kids, and then I got pregnant, and then multiple coworkers shared about their story, of getting pregnant while older, and then I moved here to Washington, and again, multiple coworkers are like, "Oh yeah, I was this age when I had my baby, and I was this age, and I was that age," and it's just like, "Oh, okay." Like, and I think these little things just like built my faith little by little. Like, oh, maybe I can have a child by birth as well as by adoption. But yeah, like, I think something that comes to mind is just how God knows us. So he just knows us so well. Like, um, I downplayed wanting to be a mom, and I think that was definitely me just trying, like, my coping mechanism was to minimize that desire, or downplay, downplay the desire of my heart. And I'm so grateful for the faith of my friends, the faith of my family, for just reminding me, like, hey, like, it's okay to want these things. It's okay to want to be a parent, and it's okay to want it, even if it doesn't happen. Like, you're going to be okay. But yeah, like, I feel so, so grateful. And then I feel super, super blessed to have had her in Washington, where they have the paid family medical leave. And so I've been on maternity leave and getting paid by the state. And so that's really helpful, like, for bonding and medical recovery. And then my husband will have his leave. And so it just also gives us the opportunity to, like, stagger our leave, and then have her out of daycare until she's a little bit older, which I really appreciate. So, like, that's a blessing. And then I got connected with multiple resources through different community programs, like the nurse family partnership program, where they follow you when you're prenatal until the baby turns 2. And that's been really helpful, like, just learning different things about maternal health and bonding and childhood development. Because it's like, yeah, like, I learned all that stuff in nursing school, but it's like, nursing school was many years ago. So it was just it's been helpful to have a refresher, and to have, like, tips about bonding, or milestones to look for, and activities to do to help with brain development. And it's been really, really great. And then another resource that I've really appreciated has been multiple. So I'll just go through the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Being the Village is a support group for Black moms, and I think also BIPOC moms as well. But meeting with them at their in-person events, and joining an online support group was really helpful. I joined Black Infant Health, and they had a walk with different moms that got together and walked around Ruston, which was really helpful. I got connected to a therapist through Black Infant Health that has been, wow, just like spot on in helping me navigate the postpartum transition and adjustment. Super grateful for her. If you're dealing with postpartum and you're like, I can use some more support, Kyla Care is what you want to look up. Kyla Care. With Lindsay. Super great person. Yeah. But like she shares podcasts and just has shared just very helpful resources. And then Open Arms has been helpful. We called the Warm Line one day. The Dad Support Group in Pierce County has been helpful. The baby lounges have been helpful, Pierce County baby lounges. So different clinics or different individuals, professionals host discussions, and I think it's for 0 to 1. But yeah, really helpful. Fern Lactation has been great. We worked with Whitney, and we'll probably continue working with her, but we've had a lot of help with getting a good latch, breastfeeding, and because she's in the same office, we've also been connected with Brittany, who's a speech therapist and does body work. And then Whitney also hosts a BIPOC lactation group. That's been really great. I think it's just helped me to feel more comfortable breastfeeding in public, and that was really empowering to like have safe spaces where I could breastfeed. I was a part of a BIPOC PEPS group and another BIPOC support group. I don't remember the name of it, but through the county as well. And then I also got connected with Family Connects. So a nurse through there, Stephanie, super helpful with resources. Yeah. And it's interesting because each resource focuses on different things. And so I just feel like they were all helpful. Like sometimes you can, I don't know, get overloaded with information. That's real. But I just felt grateful, honestly. I don't feel like things contradicted. The information wasn't contradictory. It was supportive of each other, but with highlights on different things. Fovio lactation, also a really helpful resource. Madrona is a physical therapy clinic, and I heard about them because of Fovio. It might be Fovio Birth and Lactation or something like that. But with Madrona, they have a C-section program, like C-section prehab, and then a post C-section program and plan to work through. And so something I really appreciate about working with them, I specifically worked with Dr. Emily, was having the option to connect online. Because like the first few weeks postpartum, I was like, I can't even wrap my head around trying to go to an in-person appointment right now. So to like be able to connect with them online was a game changer. And then she diagnosed I say diastasis recti. But yeah, she diagnosed the separation of my abs, which I appreciated, and just like gave me some pointers about dealing with that. And because it's super common, but it was just helpful to have pointers. And then she helped me with body mechanics, with picking up baby, picking up different things, keeping things close to my trunk, and just being mindful of like breastfeeding and posture, and just really practical tools. And I'll say it's like, these places worked for me, and I tried out a lot of things. Also chiropractic care with Dr. Mitchell, super helpful. So yeah, I am sharing this because if anything that I'm sharing can help even one person, I think that would be great. I've been wanting to share, and unfortunately, because of some of my postpartum mental health stuff, I have mostly like body image things. Some days are better than others, but I was like, oh, like I'll just wait, until, I don't know, like maybe I lose more weight, or I'll wait until my hair looks better, or I have makeup on or something. And then I listened to this really helpful podcast on Mom Well that my therapist shared with me. And I think it was Lexi, one of the sisters that wrote More Than a Body. But the podcast was about, oh my gosh, body image and just, like getting angry that we have all this marketing that targets us when we're vulnerable, and tells us like, oh, you need to be thinner, and you need to be more attractive, and you need this and that product to achieve those goals. And she's like, you know what? Our bodies are instruments, not ornaments, which I really like that. And I've been trying to focus on just thanking my body, honestly. And so, it's like I'm breastfeeding. So it's just thanking my body, like, thank you for providing for my baby in this way. I know that this is a privilege, and I don't take that lightly. My stomach, multiple guys have been like, oh, are you pregnant? And I'm like, I'm not pregnant. I still look like I'm pregnant. But that's from my my previous pregnancy. So yes, but I've survived the question. And just being grateful, like, what? Yeah, I have the evidence that there was a baby taking residence recently. My arms, I'm like, okay, they're not toned. They're bigger than usual, or bigger than before I was pregnant. But it's like I'm strong enough to carry my baby, which I appreciate. My legs, I'm strong enough to walk with her. So like I'm just really trying to appreciate my body's function and appreciate what my body did. I never would have expected my body to do well with pregnancy because of other health issues. But yeah, like I feel really proud of my body for being able to carry life and, like heal. And I had an infection. So on Mother's Day, I was in the hospital. Wah, wah. But it was like my next Mother's Day, I'm expecting it to be better. But I did have a good Mother's Day. I had a lot of well wishes, which I appreciated. But it would have been nice to skip the emergency department admission. So, but I had lovely nurses and great doctors. Very concerned doctors, which I appreciated. So yes, if there's anything in this that can serve someone else, I'm grateful that I can just show up. My husband and I so when my husband and I take pictures and we don't like what we look like in the picture, we're just like, this is what I look like. I mean, like, no filter. This is what I look like. This is what my gut looks like right now. This is how my face looks. this is what I look like right now, and that's okay. So yes, just trying to show up so other people can feel, I don't know, empowered to also show up, the way that they look in this moment. And where I used to live, there's a lot of focus on fitness and, being thin and blah, blah, blah. And so I was just telling my therapist, I was like, oh man, like I'm about to go back, and I'm excited to go back to like see friends because I love my friends, but I'm not excited about going back into that culture while I'm in my postpartum body. And I'm so grateful she shared that podcast with me, because it's like, I don't need to objectify my body. And instead it's like, yeah, I have some remnants of pregnancy, and I want to be proud of that, because it is a miracle. Like it's a miracle. So yeah, I'm just grateful to share this, like my birth story and my recovery, different resources. Yeah. And I hope this helps. I'm not good at responding, like if you have questions about my life. I am not good about following up. I'll just put that out there now. But I had a therapist, because we do marriage therapy, marriage counseling sometimes, just routinely. But my marriage counselor, I think it was mentioning like, oh yeah, sometimes we can, get fixated on different things. Because as moms, we can be bored. And I was like, oh no, I have not been bored. One, it's like with breastfeeding, sometimes I'm like breastfeeding all the time. Not anymore, because now she's 3 months, but still often enough. I mean, your girl can eat, okay? And thankfully my body can keep up. But yeah, so she was making a comment. She's like, yeah, sometimes it's easy to like kind of get in these loops because we don't have a lot going on. And my husband was like, she has a lot going on like every day. And it's not excessive, but I will say like it has been really helpful to have different events to go to. Like I mentioned, the lactation groups and the support groups and story time, and then just to like meet different parents, meet kids. Our daughter's an only child, so it's cool that she's able to meet other kids. The other thing I really appreciate is kinder music. I'll put a plug for that too. That has also been a fun outing, and our daughter likes the music, and she's young, so she doesn't participate in the same way as the older kids, but yeah, we can just tell that she's having a good time. So yeah, it just brings me joy to see her being excited, just like observing the kids, looking at the adults, and smiling and having fun. So yes, thank you so much for listening. And I will send another video with updates, and maybe like just words of encouragement. Something that I really appreciated was different nurses telling me like, you're doing a great job. And so I don't know if that's what you need to hear today, but if you do, I want to just let you know you're doing a great job, Mom. Way to go. Hang in there. Yeah, just keep loving your baby and enjoying your baby or your child, or, the process. It's been helpful just to realize like, I don't need to be perfect. I don't need to have it all together. One of my friends, this will be the last thing I say. I keep saying stuff like this, but really, we're going to wrap it up. So one of my friends was just telling me like, at the end of the day, I just would ask myself, like, is my baby fed? Are they changed? And are they loved? Like, did I do those 3 things today? And if the answer was yes, I just considered it a victory. Even if the house wasn't clean and all the dishes weren't clean and the laundry wasn't all done. And I think that's been another thing that's been really helpful for me too, is just to hold on to that. Like, I know that my baby is changed, fed, and loved. And so, yeah, I can leave space for the things that aren't done. And even my therapist made a comment. She was like, yeah, like taking care of the baby is also a chore. So at most, do just 2 chores a day, in addition to caring for the baby. And I think that's been helpful. I don't always do that. Like today I was thinking, I was like, oh, I did this and that and this and this. I was like, okay, we do need to just dial it back a little so that I have energy, to connect with my husband and my daughter. Okay, last thing. So another thing I will say is please accept help if you have help available. My mom helped us a lot. She stayed with us for 6 weeks, which was very generous. Very generous. And so I was thinking, like, I guess one perk to being an older mom and her being an older grandma is she's retired. She's semi-retired. She chooses to work sometimes to help out her friends, but yeah, but she's pretty much retired. And so she has the flexibility to do that, which we really appreciate. And it gave us opportunities to like take naps, to go on dates, to see friends, which was really helpful socially and emotionally and psychologically, mentally. Just helpful holistically, I'll say. And then it's okay to let people know that you're not okay. So I did have a day, which, I mean, even thinking about that, it's like one day, and I'm not out of the woods yet, as far as PPD is concerned, but I had a day where I don't even know how much I slept. Too little. I know that. And I texted some friends. I texted my mom because she was still here. I texted my husband, and then texted a handful of friends. And I just said, hey, guys, I'm just reaching out to let you know I am not in a good place. I have not gotten enough sleep, and I'm just kind of losing it. And so they all rallied around me, and I just felt so taken care of. My mom went to one of my friends' houses, and they took the baby so I could sleep. And another friend came over and helped me with folding and putting away laundry. Another friend came over and helped with holding the baby, just because she didn't like to be put down. Now she's older, and so she trusts us more. She's like, okay, you guys are all right. I'll let you put me down, so you can do different things. But initially she was like, no, you need to carry me at all times. And we're like, okay, but it's hard to like clean and function, around the house and always be carrying you, even with a baby carrier. And so, anyway, so they came, and then I had a friend that had a lot going on in her life. So she was like, I'm so sorry, friend, but I cannot show up for you this week. But her even just getting back to me promptly and just letting me know that, super helpful. And so I think I sometimes can be scared to ask for what I need, because I'm scared of being disappointed that people won't show up. But everyone did. My mom wasn't feeling the greatest the day before, so I didn't want to put too much on her, and I was like trying to get help from friends. But that day that I sent the text out, she was like, I'm feeling much better. I can support you more. I can watch the baby so you can take a nap and da-da-da. My husband was like, do you want me to take the day off from work so I can support you? I was like, by the time he asked that, I was like, no, I think I'm okay now. But it was so special to to call people on, like, I don't know if you're just being nice, but you offered some help and I'm going to take you up on that. And so, yeah, like, I think, yeah, if you have people that are offering to help you, whether it be with meals or helping with household chores or holding the baby, accept the help. Just accept the help. And it's interesting because people are like, you don't need people just to come and hold the baby. They need to be like cleaning your toilet or doing your dishes or something. And honestly, like for my personality, I don't feel as comfortable with people doing those things. So it was helpful for someone to hold her. Because it's like, yeah, like I don't mind you holding my baby. And I know that she is calmer when she's held, but I'll wash my own dishes. I'll put away my own laundry. But if you can just hold her, it gives me more, I'm sorry, I'm tired. Like it just gives me that opportunity to move my body more and not have to be mindful of her as I'm like bending and moving and being concerned about her comfort or like making sure I don't bump her head on something and just, those things. So anyway, that was another blessing that I just really appreciate. And I don't want to come across like, oh my gosh, I had a baby and I'm just #blessed, which yes, I am blessed. I'm grateful. But I'm just reflecting on the fact that it's like, it really has been a very positive journey. And I think largely because of the kindness, like God's kindness from people, support from people. Yeah, it's been phenomenal. And yeah, but at the same time, we're raising a baby, so like also has its challenges. My husband and I have definitely had to work on our communication. The sleep deprivation, wow, impactful. I'll say that. Your girl likes to sleep. This girl right here. So being sleep deprived was different. It was different. But yeah, other resources that have been helpful for shopping. This will be my closing comment. The pop-up kids shop in University Place, really great stuff, discounted prices, quality baby equipment, clothing, just anything baby, super helpful there. And then the Children's Trading Post has been another helpful resource. And don't tell me there's another one. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, the Pierce County Friends. I can see the logo in my mind. Oh man, I'm not gonna get it. Oh boy. Something with friends. If they're on Facebook, friends of something. It's through Pierce County, and they also have like very discounted children related items. So cribs, beds, strollers, I mean really anything that you need they have there, and it's also just heavily discounted. The one we went to was in Puyallup, but they have one coming up, if not already. They probably already had it in August, but it was for school-aged kids. And we're hoping to go to the one in November, because that one is, the one in November should have stuff for the winter. And so we're still looking for a rain jacket for her. But we were able to get a rain cover for her stroller at that I think it's is it Friends of Pierce County? No, I don't think so. Anyway, you'll probably be able to find it. If you look up Pierce County and Friends of Blank Sale, I think it would still come up. They're also on Facebook. But yeah, so those things were all super, super helpful. And yeah, thanks again for listening. I hope you're doing well, wherever, life has you right now. I hope you can count your blessings, as well as, just recognize the hard things too. There's value in that as well. But yeah, I think you caught me on a good day. Where I'm like, this is good and that's good and what a blessing, But yeah, so feeling positive. I hope this brings some light to you. And yeah, if any of those resources help, I'm glad. If you're like, oh, that person's not my cup of tea. Yeah, not everybody's for everyone, but those resources have been super helpful for us. I think it's Friends of Friends sale or something. I need to let it go. I'm gonna let it go. Okay, I'll talk to you later.